So now we're 7 years in the past. Showdown time. The card game. I I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. So now we have Zach Grammary talking to Phoenix. Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why yes, over a game of cards. That was how we first met. 7 years ago. 7 years earlier, Phoenix Wright final trial. The old courthouse, April 19, 9:27 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Phew! Okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Got to try and relax. Ah, good morning, Mr. Enigmar. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you suddenly. So his real name is Zach Enigmar? I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand. I'm asking the impossible of you. Yeah, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Here's a little girl, little Trucy. Oh, morning, Daddy! So yeah, she's dressed just like her father. So Zach Grammary is wearing pink with a club-shaped brooch, but he's dressed just like a magician, and Trucy is dressed just like her, like him, but with a diamond instead of a club. Morning, Daddy! Oh, I'm so glad you came. You okay, Daddy? They picking on you? I am fine, as always. This old boy is here to help me, after all. That's young man to you? Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks! My first show's today, after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? Oh, old boy. Me? Look what he started. Here. What's this? Who was that? Question bar. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer, at least only less than 10 swift minutes remains. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks, farewell. Signed, Magnify Grammary. What's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the mail. Oh, okay, so the question mark was actually her. Old boy! He called him old boy. Oh, shit. Ah, gross reference. Oh my god, coming from her. Ah, it's a reference to that Korean movie. Oh, I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this, a memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Notebook page added to the court record. Okay, so... Well, how do you feel about the trial today? Let me check. Crime scene photo. We see an old man with a bullet in the forehead. With next, who's in the hospital. There's a golden gun. A syringe. Some sort of first aid kit. Red. There's a perfusing needle that's outside of his arm. Yeah, there's a salute, a saline product, all green. He's supposed to be connected to it, but it was disconnected. He's plugged to a machine with the capture on his pectorals. There's a diary in front of him with a torn page. A pen on the page. There's a clown next to his bedside. who's dressed the same as him, who has a bullet in his head as well. But there's no blood whatsoever. Okay, so here's Magnify autopsy report. Cause of death, single gunshot to the head. Estimated time of death, 11 to 11:30 p.m. Magnify Grammary, age 67 male, April 13. Loss of blood from bullet wound. Malignant tumor found in victim's liver. And then I have the notebook page that we just added. We'll get through it somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear. Ah, an easy win then, yes? Oh, they're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it is a difficult situation I put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes. They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. I see you do not understand. You see, it will be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes, isn't that right, Trucy? Yep, you bet, Daddy. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shady Enigmar. Wait, what? Not Zach Grammary. His real name is Shady Enigmar? Wait. Let me check him again. Holy shit. Shady Enigmar, the client in this case, usually goes by his stage name, Zach Grammary. Magnify Grammary, the victim in this case, died after being shot in the head while in the hospital. Trucy Enigmar, Zach Grammary's daughter, already dressed the part of a magician to the hilt. No, but look! I tried to remove his hat. This is Shady Smith! Motherfucker! So Phoenix Wright was accused of killing Shady Smith? But it was actually Christophe Clavier who did it? Known to the world as Zach Grammary, a wildly popular magician, star of group Troupe Grammary. His mentor, Magnify Grammary, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead. Zach Grammary is the suspect. April 19, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Oh my god, it's the old... Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigmar. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Question mark, this is Gavin. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms? The pounding hearts? A governor's council got 10 times the thrills this gig's got. Who were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christophe Gavin's... figure my bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin, lead singer of the mega hit band The Gaviners. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up. Attorney Wright.
Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case?
Achtung, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What the fuck is his name again? Ah, yes, Detective Gumshoe. Hit it! Hello. I'm back. And you are? Hey, you are the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct. Detective Gumshoe, long time no see. Hey, you! Me? Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? What, you normally lack confidence in your testimony? Hell, detectives, this is my stage. Candy antics. Huh? All this hey youing and such. When I could care less about your history together.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand.
It happened 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, put a pistol to his forehead, and BAM! Lights out. Them's the facts.
Not so long ago, the victim, Magnify Gramarye, was a famous man.
Now we see a picture of Magnify doing his levitation bid with his cane and the animals.
He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were.
Ah, yeah, the great musician. He retired years ago, though. Say the name Magnify to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare.
Yes, though I'm sure the youngster today knew his disciple even better. I dare say true Gramarye has made quite a name for themselves.
Anyhow, the retired Magnify has been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? Ah, yeah, a mal-ignorant tutor or something. Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah, one of those.
A malignant tumor, perhaps?
In other words, he has liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. Magnify's chart added to the court record. Diagnosed with a malignant tumor, given 3 months.
The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right.
The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock, knock, knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim has a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin. When he was shot with the pistol, the syringe was found at the crime scene. So that's an insulin syringe. Okay. Yeah, that looks like an EpiPen thing. No, not an EpiPen. One of those insulin med kit, like with extra insulin with the syringe and all that jazz. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Small syringe added to the court record.
I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had?
Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Witness testimony. The circumstances. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from a pistol found in the sea, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting?
Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question. To my beloved student Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. I'm gonna keep reading it add it to the court record.
Very unusual indeed.
Okay, let me read. Check the new evidence. So this is notes: malignant tumor in liver has progressed to final stage with no hope of recovery. Patient has 3 months to live. Patient has chronic diabetes, requires regular insulin. So is the syringe empty? I always hated getting shots. I guess Magnify was giving himself the insulin shots. There's no way I could do that. Wait, if Magnify used this to inject his insulin, why are there no traces of it having been used? This is a fresh needle. Something to keep in mind. Okay, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Signed, Magnify Gravery. And it's in, the seal is on the paper. But they didn't say my forehead, it says in the forehead, and there was a clown with a bullet on his head as well.
Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder?
I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter.
You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court?
Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney.
Well, was there some reason?
As it turns out, there was. Every night, for half an hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnify Grammary, was giving an IV. An IV?
There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed.
At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. Yeah, but this time the needle is not on the arm. So that was the only time they could meet without the clearance of an untimely interruption during his IV.
Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would.
What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? Could have at least mentioned it to me. Cross-examination. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it. Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded. Could be a setup, but let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal. Fine, I can play it as slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. And this letter was sent by the victim? There it is! Gotcha! You're all mine this time, pal! I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victims, no mistake. Take that! Ah, I see. Score 1 for the boys. I didn't lose, I was just asserting the facts. So why am I so annoyed?
But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess.
I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead.
Hold it!
How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You failed to grasp the concept of questioning, detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You failed to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective. We also found a defense pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it has been fired recently.
Well, Mr. Wright? As far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim.
The photo. Maybe there's something in there that I can use. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead? I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar, I have no clue, didn't pull the trigger or shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me.
Yes?
What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal! That's why the defendants popped him one in the forehead. Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make.
Objection!
What? Would you could prove it that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice. Yes.
The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot?
The clown forehead.
Take that!
The clown doll?
Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead, too.
Ah! There's a hole in its forehead!
Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim.
Objection!
Ah, and I suppose you have a reason as to why he shoot the clown doll? Shakes his head. He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead.
The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead definitely looks like he's one shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter.
Objection!
Oh, I admit I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim.
Objection!
Perhaps he did have to shoot the forehead as ordered, but the letter said nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his order without taking a life.
The bullet hole in the clown's doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim.
So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big his little hole is going to get.
Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony.
So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. No, he said shot one shot. The pistol definitely belonged to the old man. So let me get this straight. You're saying my client first shot the clown, then shot the victim? Hey! Not a bad summary, pal! More of a confirmation than a summary, but whatever. That was really more of a confirmation than a summary. But our defense attorney seems pleased enough with himself. Do these people ever miss a chance to mock me? Well, now that Mr. Wright's gotten that out of his system, shall we continue with the testimony? I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming in here. This testimony might be my only source of information. Better pay attention and read this letter carefully. Okay, so I have to present the letter to him, saying the letter asked him to shot once. One shot.
Objection!
No? This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor.
How exactly are the evidence and statement just now related?
There aren't they?
Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think the facts over before making accusation.
I don't think that won me any points with the judge. This is the same thing that happened with Apollo. It's the same sentence. Okay, so the pistol belonged to the old man.
Hold it!
Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valiant's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Now we see a picture of a true grammary. Zack and Valiant stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they use at their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear. No, that would explain a lot about the police force. Shooting not the target, but anything else. Troop Grammary stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since. Let's see what else can I object. I'm gonna try something, it's not gonna work, but...
Objection!
No. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
It does? I don't see anything contradictory.
Huh? Really?
Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusation, Mr. Wright.
Whoops, that didn't go so well. I don't have the gun. Single gunshot. I'm gonna try the letter.
Objection!
No. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness statement?
I'm not sure I follow you.
It clearly contradicts the, I thought,
You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled.
I don't think that won me any points with the judge. This is weird. The shape of the holes don't match. The hole on the clown is bigger than the hole on Magnify's head. Like the caliber is different. Between I did that already, right?
Objection!
Yes, I did. I'm gonna present the thing again. I don't get it. Why it didn't work.
Objection!
No.
Hold it!
Might have been the clown's forehead he shot. Okay, so he practiced first on the doll, then shot him. He practiced in the middle of the hospital. Anyone could have come in at any moment. Yeah, but no one did come, did they, pal? Besides, it's what I would have done. Always look before you shoot, I say. Might I suggest we move on? This is getting us nowhere. Patience will get there sooner than you think.
Very well. Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
Wade was fired for the pistol at the scene. You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it. We compare the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullet were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did!
The court would like to see the pistol in question.
You got it, sir. Here she is.
Well, this truly is a blast from the past.
It's a stage pistol for magic show, you see. But it can fire real bullets.
It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV.
Yeah, but it can only hold 1 round. Oh. So here's your contradiction. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of it being fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a light of fingerprints is in fact the fingerprints of its own.
Intriguing point. Well made.
Whoa. Not well made, not intriguing.
In any case, the court accepts this evidence.
Okay, fires 1 real bullet, barrel mark, matched bullet found in victim, no fingerprint found. Stage pistol act to the court record.
My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this, but now it's time to return to our testimony.
So yeah, so what if he shot the clown, he still shot the victim? He couldn't, because there was only fires 1 real bullet.
Objection!
Yeah. The trickiest cases often seems the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal. After he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and...
Objection!
Shook his head. Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not.
The murder weapon? How?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds 1 bullet at a time. Ah. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. Yeah!
Objection!
That's not a contradiction. Not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot.
Objection!
Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had 1 ready, then prove to us how he got it. Ugh. Glad you had that thought. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party just getting started. Wouldn't I have proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales? And utter lack of humility.
What's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared.
Like I said, Herr Detective, was just the warm-up act. Huh? Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who you will find can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramery who shot the victim in the forehead.
Very well. We'll pause for a 15-minute recess.
This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach.
Court is adjourned.
To be continued. This was very short. April 19 at 11:21 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discover the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead one, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say, for now at least. What's this for now business? I have done many things in my life, some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I have no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I use on stage, and the one that's been used by my partner Valiant. Oh, for the second Valiant's quick draw thing. My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. Cannot deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnify coercing his disciple somehow? Just what was going on in True Gramarye? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I'd fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those calls? Rifling marks? Rifling marks. Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can't tell me? Ha 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 ha! You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks. Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? Magnify Gramarye? The old devil, he was not asleep, loosely. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Ha ha, Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zach Gramarye seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right. Let's get back in there. April 19, 11:37 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7.
Court is now back in session.
During our recess, a bullet was found dig and dug out from the clown's head.
Well, this is news. And the rifling marks?
There wasn't time to do a details analysis, though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times I have heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry about my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of True Gramarye's famous duo, Zack and Valiant. Valiant Gramarye. So we get to meet the great Magnify's other disciple. Yeah, he looks very young, the same guy. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. So he's dressed the same, but he has blacker hair and no mustache. A Valiant Gramarye, magician.
And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student your partner's guilt?
Fate? The grand illusion filled with traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay. Always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Wait. That's the same letter Zach Grammary received. No, it says to my beloved student Valiant. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
Order, order, order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Perhaps you should see for yourself. To my beloved student Valiant, if you are interested in the task of blowing my life curtain, come on the 13th, 11:20 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse. And yeah, it's the same, but the time is different. So 15 later after the other. Okay.
It's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence.
Magnify second letter added to the courtroom. Letter telling Valiant to come at 11:20.
This is most unusual. Everything was going on with you folks? Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop Grammary up to?
By which you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his student to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just mine opinion, Herr Judge. But from this letter, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the messenger's path together, and in so doing shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain or warping of relation, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Grammary, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magics. Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene.
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
Ha 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 ha! As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yeah, and now it's time to get this party fired up. Witness testimony. The night of the crime. That night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnify requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken this final blow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal that sweet kiss I gave to the clown. No. Then I informed the doctor and the police.
So you were the one who reported the crime?
Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusion.
Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusion in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Grammary, is guilty.
And if it wasn't Zach Grammary, then the killer was you, Valiant. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Cross-examination. Night of the crime. That night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnify requested. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m. Indeed. In magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stun double has left, what would that look? How would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic. Now that you revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see? The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor is taking his final blow.
Hold it!
So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? I did not consider this, to be honest. It is familiar for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusion and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you're the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination.
The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things.
I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions.
Hold it!
Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does! And my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnify wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zach couldn't? Because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick when I ban steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't all so strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. That sweet kiss I gave to the clown.
Hold it!
There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No, not my daughter's neck has said such much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valiant, let me ask about something else concerning the crime scene, namely the bullet of the pistol, the location of the pistol, or the number of pistol. Alright, let's see, how many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valiant quick draw shoot-'em, correct? 1 for each of you. You're well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zack tell me back then in the lobby? Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. Found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. I took the pistol I'd fired and placed it in my pocket.
I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene after all.
So you picked up that pistol and fired it? Indeed I did! Alakazam! Alakazing! Alakaboom!
Is the number of pistol really so important?
Yeah, because, 1 gun cannot shoot 2 bullets. Okay, let's see. The number of pistol is quite important, Your Honor.
Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony.
What can I do but obey? Only 1 pistol was in the hospital room that one. With it, I shot the clown. Just save. Let's go with the crime scene photo.
Objection!
No. Let's try the pistol.
Objection!
Ah. According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table.
2?
One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valiant has told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story at least. Question mark? But the rifling marks tells a very different story, Mr. Valiant. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compare the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling mark on the bullet were a perfect match. Mr. Valiant, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Order, order, order! Well, this is all rather sudden.
Objection!
What have I done?
Prosecutor Gavin?
I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that two of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proves the type of gun that fires them.
Objection!
But that's not what you told us before. You said you verified the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now, quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning. I am still young. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant has only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Exclamation mark.
Valiant Gramarye?
Yes, Your Honor?
You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive.
Objection!
You'll see in time. Exclamation mark. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next.
Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin?
When Mr. Valiant entered the hospital room, the victim has already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, Wright, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it.
Very well, the witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what.
Witness testimony. Who shot what? I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me.
Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basic of your alibi...
It's easy to explain in this situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, it will play for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. What a rip-off! Magic is a word of utmost precision. Hocus pocus required admirable focus. And in the time of that, determined by the doctor, there is an uncontrovertible truth.
Very well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusation, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands.
Point taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright.
Carry on? Right. Who shot what? I arrive in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20.
Hold it!
11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrive? Alas, such a feat may be beyond even the great Valiant, for there was no one in that room but Magnify, and he was departed after a fashion. I have here defendant Zach's Grammary sworn deposition. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. It was 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive.
The time indicated by this letter to Zach was 11:05.
Exactly. Which means the witness could not have entered that room before 11:15. Because his partner was still in the middle of his crime.
Someone did their arithmetic homework.
You see, the defendant himself has corroborated the witness' testimony. Does that all make sense? Not a problem. I don't see any problem with that testimony.
If you say so, let's continue, shall we?
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation and called in the doctor.
Hold it!
You walked in on the murder and the first thing you do is shoot the clown? The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request, without reason, has caused for me to surfeit of sorrow. For why would I, Valiant, be now without him? May the soul of Magnify the Great find greater peace above. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger. In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Herr Attorney.
May I remind you that baseless remark will earn penalties. Proceed with that in mind.
Yes, Your Honor. What a pain this is turning out to be. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. Did the doctor say anything concerning the cause of death? Why, yes, I believe he screamed, "My God, he's been shot in the head!"
It doesn't take a doctor to notice that. I probably would have screamed the same thing.
Und I would have penned the requiem that arose in my soul at that horrid sight. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned investigation? In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Herr Attorney. Quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m.
Hold it!
I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubt about this. It says between 11 and 11:30. How could the doctor be so precise with the time?
We do usually get an estimate time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death.
Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction.
I see another person has done their arithmetic homework.
The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnify Grammary schedule. Yeah, but the needle is not on his arm. Every night at 11, Magnify took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
I can see the IV bag right there, yes.
Now, look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end.
Ah! The needle's been removed!
Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot.
That would seem to be the case.
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. Ah, you could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determines the time of death. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. The IV report added to the court record. And so it was when I, Valiant, entered that room. Let me check the IV report. 30 minutes required to administer full IV. From the amount remaining, IV stopped 10 minutes after administration. "10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof."
Well, Mr. Wright?
But he also taking insulin, but his needle was not even used. Did that seem important? I'll come back to that. I'll say no for the moment, but I'll come back. Don't see any problem with that testimony.
If you say so, let's continue, shall we?
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. The one in the room at that time was my partner and not me. You entered that hospital room at 11:20 p.m. The time given by the defendant, Zach Gramery, was 11:05. You didn't run into him at the hospital that night. This is why I never performed with amateurs, you see. Picture is, if you will, the nighttime hospital. Outside, only the pale light of the moon. If two dresses as we were to meet in such circumstances, I dare say that would ruin the mood completely. ... The mood isn't in question here. I believe the witness is saying they didn't meet, yeah? For what is magic, if not the study of beauty? Us meeting was not only out of the question, it was an impossibility. For what is magic, if not the study of how to make absolutely no sense at all? That's it. Was there a contradiction in there? No. I don't see any problem with that testimony.
If you say so, let's continue, shall we?
Alright. An alibi over a matter of minutes. Precise is right. And pressing with impunity will earn me a nice penalty too. Better focus on one thing, this time of death. I want to check that something again. Yeah, the needle is empty. She says it wasn't used. It says it was washed. Okay. So the estimation the doctor said was to rely only on the IV bag. Save here. Yes, it's very important. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important.
Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic. Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony.
Sometimes the most magical things of all is the truth. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence.
Hold it!
Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When first I entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm did as I spy a rose drooping and wilted. It's torn, the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot, luckily for you. If that IV has not been there, you might be a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self, for it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valiant won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of the International Magicians, I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy a bust, and what a day that was. This is one trip down memory lane no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. Wait. No, it's not. Is the... But the IV is green and you're wearing yellow. How do you know what color is... I say I think it was hued especially for me, Valiant.
That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thought on this testimony?
Well, Valiant sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony? There's a contradiction. It certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. Mr. Valiant, your lucky color has betrayed you. I'm afraid you lost me. Your Honor! The witness testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence.
What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusation will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well based.
Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here.
Very well, let's hear the defense claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts that Mr. Valiant has told us?
The crime scene photo.
Take that!
The crime scene tells all, Your Honor.
The photo of the crime scene?
All this talk of color has me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple, but I can't promise anything in black and white.
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness testimony?
Yeah, the bottle is blue, the liquid might be yellow, but how would he know what the color really is?
Take that!
Valiant Grammary, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kinda takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
Something's wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright?
Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene.
What's this?
Confusion? Doubt? Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy?
Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valiant. Look at that IV bag.
Ah! Oh, what is this? What foul magic? It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Ah! A la casa. A la casa, no! Yeah, the bunnies and the pigeons are coming out of the...
Order! 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 What does this mean?
Objection!
This is some kind of mistake.
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Your witness's mistake.
Exclamation mark. The greener they are, the harder they fall. Suppose there's no substitute for experience, eh? Valiant Grammary, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the ivy is clearly not. Well, This contradiction can mean only one thing.
Objection!
Und to think, you almost had me. Question mark. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright.
Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness testimony does contradict the evidence.
Yeah, on contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistake. I agree at a glance the IV liquid does appear a sort of greenish yellow, but I assure you the liquid itself is quite yellow.
Yellow liquid? But how can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green.
Yeah, but what color is the IV bag itself? The bag? Oh, you mean the plastic bag on the hook?
It looks like, I want to say light blue.
Precisely. Figure it out yet? Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag, and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color.
I see. Your explanation does have a ring of truth to it.
Objection!
As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave, for you that is. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? Exclamation mark. It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Alakaz, oh my god!
Order, order, order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid, so I'm sure it means something, but what?
I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valiant Grammary, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because it looked yellow, he's seen it before, he knew the IV liquid's color. I want to say that he's seen it before. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he's seen it before, but not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in the clear, colorless bag.
I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what all this means.
Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at the hospital? That's not where I was going! Ah, come on. That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor.
Objection!
I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knew the IV liquid's color? Leaves the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our TV bopper fans, yeah?
Objection!
The IV liquid is the only evidence proving of the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin.
I remember it well.
However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag.
Wait, I know! An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right, right?
As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sand through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid has increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in.
Objection!
Let me get this straight, right. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. Now wait, I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task?
Objection!
I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup.
Objection!
I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat?
Yes, a point, amateurs. I at least would have some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag.
You don't need to be an expert to see the looks on the witness' face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth?
Valiant Gramarye, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was the syringe.
Take that!
The victim's syringe?
It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick, and easy enough for an amateur to use.
Objection!
What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it.
Objection!
And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valiant Gramarye, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Alakazaug!
Order. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin.
Clavier ...
I'm afraid that while there is doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today.
Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this and do a little much-needed investigation work.
I see there are no objection, Court. Is that...
Objection!
Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. Exclamation mark. A word of the wise. Underestimate the young and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used a syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid? But there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yeah, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it? Nor was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This, I admit, after all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much?
You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin?
Proof, Herr Judge, I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less.
What's this?
This is the victim Magnifier Gramarye's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnify began writing his memoir, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he attended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciple couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night. Even after the IV has begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we? Tonight's IV is in, maybe the last. I leave the rest of them. The first should come soon. This journal may end or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand.
This does not appear to have been written just before his death. The court accepts this into evidence.
Magnifies diary added to the court records, a memoir of sorts written up to just before he died. Read the very last part with particular care. This journal may end here or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Grammary.
That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all.
But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here or it may go on. It may go on. But now I have another page. It seems fate clause will make me wait a little longer, at least only less than 10 swift minutes remains. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks, farewell. So this would prove that this was written after the Zach Zach was shot, so he was still alive. Okay. Magnify Grammary intended to write again. That is, if Zach Grammary didn't pull the trigger, well, the page is torn. It seems the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on, it ends. Because Magnify's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Grammary.
Order, order, order! Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnify Grammary wrote this?
There is no mistaking his handwriting.
Well, this does seems to be significant. According to this, Magnify did intend to continue his diary. Yet, if his diary ended here, which plainly it did,
Then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Grammary. Well, how do you like me now, Wright? Still too green for your taste? Da-da-da. He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he would overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence.
well, Mr. Wright, the witness testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence, it seems like quite sufficient for a case.
If the diary is accepted like this, the trial is over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. Show evidence or no need? Well, the evidence that I got came from Trucy. The source is shady, but this is all I got. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence.
What? You have some evidence that overturned this diary?
It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassment.
Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright.
Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown the court. Exclamation mark. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victims continue hiding his diary. Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't help with this page is this page. First, take a close look at this diary. Note that the page has been ripped out.
What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all.
That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. I don't believe it! Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnify Grammary. That's the defense position.
Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
Flash to Valiant and to Phoenix. Note the torn edge on the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnify's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Grammarly left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valiant Grammarly! No! No!
The handwriting too matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article. Order, order, order!
But wait, that's impossible! That old man couldn't have written that!
Objection!
Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge?
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin?
Might I require we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness.
Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses.
I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of his testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor.
Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
Well, Your Honor, judging from this enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway. So it might as well be sooner.
Then, though this is highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom.
I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Drew Misham!
Holding trial with no audience is a first even for me, Prosecutor Gavin.
Yeah, everybody's cleared. Nobody's in the courthouse. The public has been evacuated. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The detail of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room.
Very well. And you are the witness, I gather.
Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name is Drew Misham. I'm a painter.
A painter? And you are somehow related to this case?
No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Phoenix Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah. I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Grammarly.
Illegal evidence?
I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He is skilled in making perfect reproduction of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries?
Well, so we are to understand that this page here is...
a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Objection!
Hold it! No, I said objection, but still, hold it! I didn't prepare this evidence.
Objection!
The attorney speaks. Some things about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix Wright.
Witness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
That, I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want and receive my payment. But that's the extent of my contact with them.
Objection!
But, there's no proof this is a fake. Oh no, it's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can't say without a doubt. This is mine. Ugh. Gavin is smiling. The judge is shocked.
Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court!
It was careless of me. That's all I can say.
Oh, old boy! Here.
What's this?
I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important.
It was all a trap. A fatal trap.
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
do you have an explanation for yourself?
If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, and presenting it in court a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney.
Fatal too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Exclamation mark. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
I am sorry, Mr. Wright.
Your Honor, another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hasn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to seek before embarrassing yourself.
I see no need to further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed!
Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright? Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I'll remember you, Mr. Wright. Now back with Zach Garamary.
Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over.
Zach seemed confident,
You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must...
Ah, Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Zach?
There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible.
I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you.
Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist?
Doesn't exist? What are you talking about?
I am talking about this! Poof! They disappear. Vanishing act. Mr. Nigmar! The defendant escaped! Find him, quick!
Bailiff, close all exit from the building! On the double, he must not be allowed to escape!
That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Nigmar, aka Zach Gramary, did not just escape from court. he literally, unbelievably, vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again, not since that day. This is the Grammary Miracle! Ha 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 ha! No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Grammary vanished, along with him, for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later. To be continued. Do you want to save? Yes, we're going to save, and this is where we're going to end the stream. I said we were going to stop until we found how Phoenix lost his badge, and you have the story right there, folks. Save complete. Now, who are we rating? There's a lot of people playing Persona 3 Reload. Sturlock is playing Grand Blue Fantasy. Object is playing Doom. Have we rated Ready Player Game recently? I'm not sure. Was it Starcross or Ready Player Game? It's between those two. Oh no. Okay, I know who we're gonna rate. Somebody we haven't rated in a long time. February Night 4. There you go. So, this has been Damien Mascador signing off. Next stream will probably be on Thursday. I'll be playing Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And on Friday, it's going to be probably the second half and the end of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Like, we're gonna ram through the ending, and then after that, the stream after that, we're gonna start Dual Destiny. So this is it. Take care, everybody, and see ya.